Alright guys, we've been vindicated. I've been saying this for a while now that Messi is one of the most protected GOATs of all time, and in my opinion, when it comes to the GOAT debate, it's not 50-50. It's more like 70-30. 70% of the red carpet being rolled out for GOAT status, for Messi to go and reach, to just waltz in and go and reach, and 30% of him actually earning his GOAT status. And today we will be going over some of the most damning moments in his career that just highlights how these organizations and the hidden hand and the global elite footballing mafia cabal that has been guiding Messi's hand along part his steps to GOATship. Without further ado, let's get into this video. Like the video, subscribe, let's get into the video. My first piece of damning evidence, we're gonna start here. We're gonna start with the HGH Messi has been taking in his budding years as a teenager to help his, get a smaller frame, grow into a more adult frame so he can be able to handle adult football better. Although he started taking HGH at a pretty young age, it is pretty important to remember that his career began around that same time. In fact, Messi may have still been taking it at the time of his competitive debut for Barcelona at the age of 17. Even if he was not, the competitive debut is not the starting point of an athletic career. His friendly debut and his debut for the club's reserve team took place when he was 16, when he was still probably taking human growth hormone. Even before that, while on the drug, so not maybe if while on the drug he was competing in the youth academy with other players equally hungry for a spot on the professional roster. So this guy drugged up on performance enhancing drugs while everyone else was just working hard, working their ass off, learning the game of football, pushing weights. Messi was in the janitor's closet with HGH, plugging it into his shoulder like a little fiend. This dirty, slimy cheater. Let's get into a video about this, man.
Messi is physically perfect for his style of play. At 5'7", he's equipped with a low center of gravity that complements and multiplies his
Of course he's physically perfect.
Combined with tremendous upper body strength,
he has drugs helping him.
He's arguably become the greatest player in history. But without early medical intervention, his career might never have happened. Messi was raised to be a footballer. He received his first Newell's Old Boys shirt for his first birthday. He was never seen without a ball, and as the cliche goes so often, that included at bedtime too. The ball also belonged at his feet, and that was apparent from a very early age. At 4 years old, we realized he was different, Jorge Messi, his father, recalled. He played with his brothers who had 7 and 5 years on him, and he used to dance around them.
Yo, I'm not here for this. So, you see what I'm going to try to do? I'm going to try to put in this little easy propaganda. They're all in on it. All of these companies are in on it. Tifo, they're going to try to soften the blow of this guy sticking performance-enhancing drugs in his veins, while the rest of the kids were actually just playing football normally. Everyone's just going to try to gloss over. I'm not here for the, oh, but he was so small, he was so talented when he was so small, and he just needed some drugs. He just needed some drugs to help him become better than the kids that are taking no drugs.
From the age of 6, he was part of Newell's academy. He was told that his son had barely grown over the past few years, and that at just 4'4" then, he was projected to reach just 4'7" inches. After a battery of tests lasting a year and observing that the boy had barely grown over a period of 24 months, a specialist, a Dr. Diego Schwartzstein diagnosed a case of growth hormone deficiency. Now, GHD is a rare condition caused by the inadequate secretion of growth hormone from the pituitary gland. According to the National Library of Medicine's website, its prevalence is approximately 1 to 4,000.
Basically, the balls in his brain wasn't working. The balls in his brain doesn't... Maybe that's why he's always all over the place.
To 1 to 10,000, and treatment involves the injection of synthetic human growth hormone. In Guillaume Balaguer's biography of Messi, Dr. Schwartzstein remembered a determined young boy who was unfazed by the diagnoses or the prospect of treatment. A boy who didn't cry and who was just focused on doing what he could to grow.
Why would he cry?
So, that treatment required injections of HGH.
Why would he cry when you're pumping him up with basically a softer version of Compound V? Why would he cry when you're giving him steroids that will make him stronger, faster, more alert than every other player in the field? He has an advantage over every other player in the field, and everyone likes to talk about, oh, Ronaldo's obsessed with the gym. Well, now we know why Messi that never needed to be obsessed with the gym. Ronaldo's just obsessed with his body. Well, because he's going against a guy who, at halftime, if he's having a bad game, he just sneaks into the closet like the little rat he is, and he sticks some HGH in his veins. In his veins! The little rat!
In alternate legs, which Messi had to administer himself each night, and which, according to Balaguer's biography, left him with visible puncture marks from the needles. The biggest strain was on the family's finances. At estimate, the hormone replacement therapy cost $900 each month. And while middle class by European standards, that was a heavy expense to bear.
This is literally drug
Jorge
addiction.
only earning around $1,600 each month as a factory worker. It helped to create a decisive moment in Messi's career. He'd been a junior at Newell's Old Boys since the age of 6, but according to his father, Jorge, the Argentinian club were only willing to part subsidize the cost of treatments, not pay for them outright. They gave me 300 pesos, $300 at the time, and never any more, Messi Sr. told the German magazine Kicker, before acknowledging that his son would have stayed at his hometown club had they agreed to cover those costs. But it was not Newell's as an institution that let us down. It was the people who were in charge at the time. A 13-year-old Messi would also spend another week at...
Listen how greedy the father is. Listen how greedy he is. Oh, why aren't you using more of your institution's money, your institution's money to help fund our son's drug addiction, our son's steroid addiction? Why aren't you helping him? Messi needs to stick it up in a bathroom. He needs to stick it up. He needs to stick up the drugs in the janitor closet. Why aren't you funding us? It's gone so out of hand that the father is trying to hold the son like hostage. Like he's some weapon of mass destruction. These evil, evil people.
River Plate on trial in the year 2000.
Messi's a victim!
He was only here for 3 or 4 days, and he blew us away, Eduardo Ibrahimian told Goal.com. Again, though, an agreement couldn't be reached, exactly why has never been determined, and one of football's great what-ifs was created. Now, the actual story thereafter is well known. In September 2000, Messi trained with Barcelona, and in December 2000, one of the most famous anecdotes in footballing history took place. With the Messi family having returned to Argentina, their agent, Josep Maria Minguella, who was once responsible for bringing Diego Maradona to Catalonia, met Charlie Reixach, Barcelona's technical director, at a local tennis club and signed the famous napkin, which in effect brought Messi to Camp Nou. Well, in effect perhaps, but it wasn't quite that simple. Upon arriving in Spain, Messi wouldn't be living at La Masia, but instead in a house with his family. And because the FIFA regulations of the time forbade transfers of minors unless accompanied by an adult, Barcelona needed to find a job for his father. They would agree to both requests. They'd rent a flat for the family and found Jorge a job with the company that provided the club with security staff. Importantly, they also agreed to cover the cost of his future hormone treatment. Before that agreement was formalized, they'd actually be paid for privately by a club director, Joan Locueva.
So basically, we need someone, anyone, to pay for Messi's steroids so that during his puberty stage in life, so he can grow up to be a strong man. And they're struggling to find that person, and who comes in? Oh, none other than the Negrita boys themselves. Barcelona comes in hopping and skipping. Oh, a player that we can stick full of steroids and he won't be breaking the rules because FIFA's gonna allow it? Lionel Andres Messi, ladies and
The
gentlemen.
tiny boy from Rosario, who was once so small he wasn't even allowed to play at all, would grow to become 5'7", just under average height in Argentina, but still 2 inches taller than Diego Maradona. If you like this video,
Still taller than Maradona. Hilarious. Now we're just gonna go to Google real quick, and we're gonna just read what ChatGPT has to say. I asked them, or I suppose to be but is AGH considered a performance enhancer? Yes! Human growth hormone is widely considered a performance enhancing drug, a PED. It is banned by all major anti-doping authorities, including the World Anti-Doping Agency, HYDRAA. Through scientific evidence regarding its ability to significantly boost strength, aerobic endurance, and in healthy adults remains mixed and highly debated. So again, Barcelona's boy is none other than a fraud who cheated his way into the footballing industry by stealing unfairly the positions of people that were way more deserving because they worked hard and they should have fairly been allowed to enter La Masia and the starting team. But because Barcelona wanted to try their little freakazoid experiment, they went ahead with Messi. Let's get into the second part of why I believe this guy, this little demon from Rosario, has been allowed to just get away with many things. Barcelona La Liga giants charge over payments to inform referees. Official Jose Maria Enrique Negrita. Barcelona have been charged with corruption after, allegedly paying over 7.3 million euros between 2001 and 18 to firms owned by Jose Maria Enrique Negrita, an ex-vice president of Spain's referee committee. Wow! Would you look at that? Would you look at that, ladies and gentlemen? You know who else played for Barcelona via 2000 and conveniently left in 2018? Lionel Andres Messi. Yes. Barcelona have been charged with corruption over payments the club made to ex-vice president of Spain's referee committee, Negrita. On Friday, the public prosecutor's office said Spain's prosecutor had filed complaint against Barca to two of the La Liga club's ex-presidents over alleged payments to a company owned by the senior refereeing official to influence match results. Wow. What kind of match results? Could it be match results like the 2009 Champions League match versus the great gargantuan Blues, where Barcelona fullback Dani Alves catches Fon Maluda in the box after 23 minutes and the referee says no penalty? Could it be that? Could it be that? Or could it be that not only were they paying La Liga, but they were also paying the UCL referees as well? Maybe we should check into the UCL as well, because this is an example. They're only getting charged for what's happening in La Liga. They're not saying anything about this match right here. One of the most scandalous UCL matches of all time. So not only do you have sketchy things going on in your domestic league, but you have things going on in international club tournaments, such as the UCL. Let's watch this video from Tifo. Why did Barcelona pay the head referees? Will Tifo try to play defense for these scoundrels, these scammers, these thieves? Let's see.
After a summer of disruption and the difficulties created by
and
their
corruption
financial situation, Barcelona are facing a scandal in Spain. But why? And what is it? Simply put, Barcelona have been charged with corruption over payments they made to the vice president of Spanish football's refereeing committee. Jose Maria Enriquez Negreira, who held that role between 1994 and 2018, is also facing charges of corruption in a case brought by the Spanish Public Prosecutor's Office, as is Josep Maria Bartomeu, Barcelona president from 2014 to 2020, and Sandro Rosell, president from 2010 to 2014. Enriquez Negreira has denied ever favouring Barcelona in terms of refereeing decisions.
Of course he would.
Barca have explained that they hired an external consultant.
Why? So wait, we're allowing... Wait. Anyway, we're going to get to that. But why would he... He has 73 million euros in his bank account. He would never admit to it. He's already been paid off.
Who provided reports related to professional refereeing and also deny any wrongdoing. All parties, Barca, Enriquez Negreira, Bartomeu and Rosell, have been approached for comment by The Athletic. So if Barcelona are found guilty, what might happen? Well, news emerged in mid-February that prosecutors were investigating payments made by Barcelona to Dasnil 95, a company owned by Enriquez Negreira between 2001 and 2018. They began their investigation in May 2022 when tax inspectors alerted them to alleged irregularities in Dasnil's financial records. In March 2023, the prosecutors put a figure on the total value of those payments. Over 7.3 million euros was paid by Barcelona to Dasnil and a second company owned by Enriquez Negreira, Nilsat. Now, Barcelona as a legal entity have now been charged with the crime of continued corruption in business. Spanish law relating to this crime was established in 2010. Since 2015, it's included a specific section targeting corruption in sport when it's suspected an attempt has been made to predetermine or alter in a deliberate and fraudulent manner the result of a match or competition. Continued corruption means that the crime is believed to have taken place over a sustained period rather than being a one-off. This means the potential punishments are bigger.
Bro, these dirty criminals at Barcelona couldn't even do it for like 5 seasons. Bro, you did it for damn near 2 decades. Have you no shame? 3 years off 2 decades. 17 years of corruption. And the Barcelona fans will still try to argue that their club is the best in the world. I spit on your club's badge and banner.
and can include up to 4 years in prison for individuals or professional disqualification and fines for groups or enterprises. In documents presented to a Barcelona court in the second week of March, prosecutors said FC Barcelona reached and maintained a strictly confidential verbal agreement with Enriquez Negreira so that, in his capacity as vice president of the CTA, Spanish football's referees committee, and in exchange for money, he would carry out actions tending to favour Barcelona in the decision-making of referees in the matches played by the club. Prosecutors have also charged parties in this case with false administration and falsifying a commercial.
So, Real Betis fans, Real Vallecano fans, Villarreal fans, Atletico Madrid fans, and Real Madrid fans, now you know whenever our Barcelona player, attacker, would go down in the box, woo, sploosh. Why penalty would happen more than likely. I remember when it just used to be memes. I remember when we just used to make jokes about it on social media with my friends. Penalty Barcelona. Trolling. Whole time the jokes were real. They had actual substance behind it and we didn't even know. We just used our eyes and our brains and called it what we saw. And the whole time they were paying the head of referees. These dirty rats.
Document with 2 former officials from Bartomeu's time as Barca president also charged, Oscar Grau and Albert Soler. Grau and Soler have also been approached for comment by The Athletic. In terms of other sporting punishments, La Liga has already said it cannot investigate because the case relates to events that took place more than 3 years ago. Both the Spanish FA and Spain's High Council for Sports, a governmental body, have previously told The Athletic that they will respect the legal process before considering any action of their own. UEFA told The Athletic that it has no comment to make. Unlike La Liga, European football's governing body would have the power to bring sporting sanctions, as an offence would not be time-barred under its rules. Barcelona have said that they've launched their own investigation, in which they've involved their compliance department and also an external law firm.
Niggas launch their own. Niggas investigate themselves for corruption. Man, bro, fuck out of here. Like, bro,
so
I don't even want to curse.
Negreira
Come on.
for? Well, there still remains much doubt over the exact nature of the services that he provided to Barcelona. Speaking to the regional Catalonia branch of Cadena Ser.
Come on, guys. Okay, we already know Tifo because of, they don't want to get lawsuits issued against them, so they have to be allegedly and what could it possibly be about after seeing the 2009 Chelsea match? But I'm going to ask the fans of La Liga, do you think this is true? And I'm not asking just the Real Madrid fans. I'm asking all of the La Liga fans. Fans from Real Betis, once your team was in La Liga at one point or some point from 2001 till 2018 and you played against Barcelona and you saw a dodgy call, let me know. Do you think that was because of this? The $7.3 million put in the head officiating referee's pocket.
The media outlet that first broke the news of the scandal in mid-February, Enriquez Negreira said no documentation of his work existed because it was always conducted verbally. He said such work included giving advice on how players should behave with different referees. Bartomeu, speaking with The Athletic in February, claimed to have only dealt with Enrique Negreira's son, Javier, over payments made to Dasnil. He claimed not to have been aware that Enriquez Negreira himself was involved in the company until later on. He said it was Negreira's son who supplied the technical reports on refereeing Barcelona paid for and that he completed them with great professionalism. Negreira's son has said the reports he was paid for have been provided to prosecutors. Bartomeu also said that payments were stopped in 2018, quote, to reduce our expenses, adding, the sports department of the club notified me we would part ways with this company and start assuming this job internally. However, Ernesto Valverde, the current Athletic Bilbao manager who was in charge at Barca from 2017 to 2020, said he did not have a clue about the work that Dasnil was paid for. And sources close to Pep Guardiola, who wished to remain anonymous when speaking to The Athletic, said that the former Barca boss from 2008 to 2012 did not know anything about reports provided by Enriquez Negreira or his son.
I'm sure Pep didn't know. The same Pep that won a sextuple, that won a treble in the year. One of the most prestigious awards in football. It's funny, you know, Pep, Messi, both of them considered the GOAT. Negreira around his legacy. Goes to Man United, 112 charges around his legacy. I'm just saying, Messi, Negreira around his club legacy from pretty much the whole time he's at his club. We're going to get to his international career soon. These two, a lot of similarities. Media wants us to believe that they're the GOAT, but thank you. I'm so glad we live in the internet era because we would have probably believed it.
Perhaps the most illuminating comment to have emerged so far is the testimony given by Enriquez Negreira himself to Spain's tax authorities, reported in the Spanish media, in which he said Barcelona had paid him to make sure no refereeing decisions were made against them, which is to say, for everything to be neutral. Links between football clubs and referees are not uncommon in Spain. Carlos Mejia de Villa, a referee with 219 La Liga games under his belt, has worked, entirely legitimately, for Real Madrid's Institutional Relations Department since retiring in 2009. Manuel Majuto Gonzalez, who refereed 262 games in the Spanish top flight, is now part of Getafe's first-team structure, again working entirely legitimately. But Enriquez Negreira's relationship with Barcelona is the only case where payments were made by a club to an individual still working for the Spanish FA and in a position of real influence. Speaking in early March, current Barcelona president Joan Laporta said, "We want to make clear Barcelona has not bought off referees and
we're gonna stop this video right here. But this is painting a picture so far of they allow him to use drugs while he's going through his teenage years. Pretty much his whole club career at Barcelona in La Liga, he's been helped. And it's the Spanish FA. I want you to remind yourself of the Spanish FA. So not only La Liga, but the Copa del Rey, the Supercopa de España. These things are also under the governing body of these referees. So all of those Copa del Reyes that he's won, remind yourself. Listen, we may have to put some asterisks right there. Now let's talk about this. Messi's corruption claim dismissed by the Copa America organizers. Messi makes allegations after being sent off in a win over Chile. The South American Football Confederation said questioning the integrity of the Copa America was unacceptable after Messi alleged that Argentina were victims of the corruption in their 2-1 win over Chile. Messi was sent off towards the end after the first half of their third place playoff in Sao Paulo and refused to take part in the medal ceremony. The Barcelona player was dismissed following a confrontation with the former Cardiff midfielder Gadi Medel, who was also shown a red card. So both of them got a red card, but apparently it's corruption against Messi. Really? Okay. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna play a little game, right? What happens when you intentionally touch the football with your hand in the World Cup? What happens? Intentionally touching the football with your hand or arms is a handball offense under the IFAB laws of the game. In the World Cup, this results in the referee stopping play to award the opposing team with a direct free kick or penalty if the foul occurs inside of the penalty area, as we know. Depending on the exact context of the intentional touch, the following additional consequences apply. Yellow or red card if deliberate. handball stops a promising attack or denies opposing team a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity, the offending player is sent off with a red card. If it is non-deliberate or accidental, the handball denies a goal scoring opportunity inside the box and the player is usually cautioned with a yellow card. We're gonna look at this.
So holds well, played across, deflected and in, and it's Messi.
Look at the wrist. You would think he's playing basketball. Is he playing basketball or football?
Finishing it, he starts it and finishes it.
He pushes this ball in to Samuel Eto'o, and the boys in the blue and white shirts are absolutely going out of their skulls because they saw the handball that Lionel Messi cheated on in this goal. It has to be said, Maradona-esque punch. Kun Aguero did something similar, you remember, early on in the season, and they are at Santiago's throat here.
And you see Raffetti trying to help keep his teammates away from the referee and the linesman.
Well, Messi's nowhere near to be seen because he has a face as red as his shirt here. Lionel absolutely handles this. There's the ball fed across. Deco takes a wicked deflection. There's the reach in with the hand.
There's no question.
There is absolutely not.
It happened quickly, it happened fast, as it always does, Ray. But it's disappointing, really.
It is disappointing and astonishing.
Club level. That was club level. Now, we're going to take a look at international level.
To find Molino would have been away. He gets away with it though, doesn't he?
That looks intentional to me. I think that isn't that a yellow card?
I'm going to book it up momentarily. It's Ronaldo underneath that, but a card.
What happened? Nothing? Should Messi have been sent off? However, Spanish referee Antonio Matal opted not to caution Messi again and dismiss him from the pitch, so he already had a yellow card. It was a decision that many fans believe was wrong and Messi should have been sent off. It was summed up best by the commentary on BBC. The commentator Jonathan Pierce saw Virgil van Dijk arguing with the ref in an attempt to convince him to send Messi off. And Pierce said, "A wry smile because he knows why he wasn't booked. Because he's Lionel." Really that simple. You can read the tweets, people. Messi, the most protected player of all time. The people are waking up. Completely deliberate handball and not booked. The referees are not really ever deliberately biased. It's all in our heads because we have our own prejudices. Maybe home teams get some advantage, but not booking Messi for a handball. There was a referee actually favoring one team, blatantly in front of the whole world. Very interesting. No yellow card for the most deliberate handball you'll ever see. Why don't you just present Messi the World Cup? Oh, and we can replace the final with a 90-minute tribute concert for him. It really makes you think, guys. And it doesn't end here. It doesn't end here. Just when you thought it would end in 2022 versus the Netherlands, here comes this rat again in 2026 versus Egypt, which is arguably one of the most corrupt and one-sided officiated World Cup matches of all time. I will let Gobo Madrista take it away and show you guys.
Because even before the Egypt match, we already had the red card forgiven on Messi. That was a clear red card, and for some reason, totally forgiven. The McAllister foul, I think it was against Austria, and immediately after that foul, there was a goal. Now, did VAR review that? Of course not. There were fouls at the edge of the box where the defender clearly touched the ball, but But of course, they call a foul because it's a goal scoring opportunity for Argentina. Like, we have seen plenty of these things before the Egypt match, but the Egypt match just kind of takes it to the next level. So let's go through these one by one. Number one, a player running down the wing, pushes the ball forward, and he's taken down blatantly. Nothing. No problem there. Nah, that's nothing. Number two, Mo Salah receives the ball at the edge of the box, controls the ball. He's clearly shoved from behind. No call. Of course not. It's at the edge of the box. It could be a goal-scoring opportunity. You can't call that. Then you have the penalty, which in real time did look like a penalty to me. But then, I don't know, you look at it from other angles, it's a little bit more questionable. But God forbid VAR review that and say, nah, actually, no, that's never going to happen. Okay, anyway, they missed the penalty. Now, right after the penalty, there's an elbow to the face. And there's no yellow here. Actually, the only person that got a yellow after the elbow to the face of the Egyptian player, the only person that got a yellow was the Egyptian manager for complaining that one of his players got an elbow to the head. So ridiculous. Okay, number 5. There's a clear, Argentina is sort of pressing loosely, and there's a clear foul on the goalkeeper. No call, nothing. You could even pull out a yellow for that because it was totally unnecessary, but no call. Okay, number 6, a player receives the ball in the midfield. He's clearly fouled from the back. Nothing there, nothing to worry about. Then, of course, you had the slap, which was crystal clear, and like everybody saw it.
Bro,
that was just a slap for no.
The everything else, I was like, all right, man, this is getting ridiculous. But when I saw the slap, that's when I absolutely lost it. That's when my head went to Mars because I'm like, wow. Look how differently they get officiated from every other team in the tournament. It's ridiculous. They just roll out the red carpet for this guy to just go and do great in every tournament to beef up his image, beef up his legacy, and to just diminish other legends just for money. It's evil. It's sick. It's disgusting.
Apparent reason. So it wasn't even like even in part of the momentum of the play. No, it was just like a slap in the face for the hell of it. Nothing happened there. Of course not. I mean, that's a yellow, clearly. Then you had, of course, the second Egyptian goal, which was disallowed. And this is one of the most tragic things that I've seen in football history. This was one of the most beautiful counterattacking goals in the history of the world.
Beautiful football.
It was a fantastic goal.
Yep.
And they call it back for contact 80 meters.
I'm going to be honest, guys. I believe this was a foul. But if this is going to be the grounds you're establishing your fouls on, I want you to call it the same way for Egypt.
On the other side of the pitch, about a half hour before the goal was scored. That's how far they had to rewind to find something, anything, to take that goal away from Egypt. I've never seen anything like this, certainly not in a World Cup. But it's and by the way, when McAllister does it, that's fine. Like no one knows.
This is what I'm talking about. You've established the foul limit. The limit of contact you're allowing players to have in this game. Why is the limit lower for Argentina and then higher for Egypt? I don't get it.
No one does any reviews when McAllister does it, right? This was one of the worst calls that I've ever seen in my life, and one of the most tragic ones as well because it was so unfair. Okay, number 9, Mo Salah, with the ball, kind of pushes it forward, gets swiped clearly from underneath. No yellow, absolutely not. No yellow, nothing to see here. Number 10, an Egyptian box. So there's an Egyptian player in the box, and he's going to attack the ball as it comes in, and he's clearly has his arm pulled and his body turned in the opposite direction, eventually falls to the ground. They don't even do, here's the thing is, they don't even do like VAR checks for these things. Like when it's something that could favor Egypt, there's no VAR. The VAR doesn't seem to exist, right? It only exists for Argentina, and then it exists like with a microscope, It's ridiculous. Then number 11, of course, Mo Salah gets clipped in the box. No call, not even a VAR review. Not even a VAR review. And of course, in the subsequent play, Argentina scores. So now you have 2 reasons to use the VAR. 1, because you had a potential penalty, and 2, because the foul preceded a goal. So now you have two reasons to check it, but they don't. And by the way, that foul looked very similar to the foul that actually disallowed the Egyptian goal. It was basically, a slight stepping on the foot. Like, you could argue that maybe it wasn't a penalty or whatever, but check it. Check it. But it looked very, very similar to me than the contact that disallowed the second Egyptian goal. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. The Egyptian forward Zico said it very well at the end in an interview. He's like, all the work that we put in and the passion of tens of millions of people, like a whole nation, for this. When FIFA has predetermined that Argentina has to win this match, it's disgusting. And by the way, Argentina, like, they're the bigger side with the bigger names. Do you have to help them? On top of it, you got to help them. This is like David Goliath, like, times a million. Like, do you really? It's such an injustice. The VAR is never used in any situation that might favor Egypt. But for Argentina, they will go through everything with a microscope. Like, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I don't know.
That final statement from him was the perfect way to summarize this. For every other team, when it can potentially put the match in their favor now, if you go over VAR, skim over it, sometimes don't even check it, like what they did with the Messi handball. Barely checked it. This same handball we're talking about, barely checked it. But for other teams now, they will fine comb it like they have a needle, like they need magnifying glass, and look for any little problem. And the one-sidedness comes so apparent to the people that it doesn't surprise us anymore. Look here. Like, every crime under the sun, Argentina FA under investigation, under FBI investigation amid suspected bank fraud and money laundering in the United States. So not only is Messi tied to one of the more corrupted football associations in world football. Let's be honest. One of the most iconic moments is the hand of God, where Diego Maradona literally cheats to score a goal in a World Cup final, and they try to rewrite history with revisionism and make it look like an iconic moment. This is FIFA, this is corruption, and now this is Lionel Messi. Let me know in the comments what you think. I've exposed this fraud. You'll never look at him the same after this video. Like the video, subscribe. I will see you guys in the next one.